Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. It's been a while. We took a few months off at the end of college basketball, but college football is right around the corner. And I'm here in studio, Brian Leonard and Preston, a.k.a. the Sports Cheetah. Both guys on Wager Talk with me. And, of course, yours truly, Marco D'Angelo. We're going to be talking Golden Nugget college football games of the year. Now, we're here in Las Vegas Friday. It's June 26th. They just brought them out. And these two guys are our resident experts as far as attacking futures numbers. That's not my forte. I'm a guy that's more of an in-season capper and situational capper. So today, I'm going to basically just be the host, and we're going to talk about you guys. And when I say you two guys are the real deal, between these two guys today, they wagered the max bet you could do on these games is $1,000. They put into play $46,000 at the Golden Nugget today, attacking these lines. Golden Nugget, let's give them credit. They come out, they put these lines out before anybody else, let people bet into them, but they put some restrictions because they don't want the sharps like you two to beat them up too bad. And Brian, I'll go to you first and, explain the situation of how they do things and the limits they put on the games.
Yeah, they've actually gotten better. I've done it 5 years now, and they seem to improve on it all the time. This year, they put out the sheets at noon, and they let you start betting at 1:30, which gave us time to fill in all of our power ratings into the sheets and figure out what we wanted to play. It worked out really great. And on the board this time, they put the line, the line changes, which before, we're all over here, I want to bet this, but they're really getting good at it, and they've done an excellent job. Unfortunately, at least in my regard, I thought they did a better job of making lines this year than they have any other year.
Preston, did you think the lines were a little bit short? This is your first year.
My first year.
You do it.
First year doing it here. I mean, in the past, there's offshore places that'll put up numbers in a couple weeks, and they usually are piggybacking off these and the moves anyway. So it was my first year here in Vegas doing it at the Nugget, and it was a lot of fun. It was hectic, but it was great. Like Brian said, I thought they did a really good job. There's still plenty of numbers to take advantage of, so maybe it's been worse in the past. And to me, it seemed like there was plenty of spots.
There were some years where at the end of the year, I'd be 24 points off of what it was. But a lot of that comes down to injuries
we'll
and things like
happens.
that. And you never know. We still might be there this year. But I thought they've done a really nice job.
In that crunch time right before they actually opened the board up, you two guys, I mean, you talk about nose to the grindstone. I walked up to Preston. He was at the back bar, and you had some guys with you to help you get all these bets in because they limit you to how many you can bet at a time. And I walked up when you first got there, and you being out of state, hey, Preston, I was going, I'll talk to you later, man. It's business. And that's good. No, that's great because this is what you guys do. And I'm going to give us a shameless plug at Wager Talk. I mean, we back our stuff up. We put our money where our mouth is. You guys put up $46,000 today. That's, the most you could bet 1,000 at a time. And we don't claim to be things that we're not. This is not my forte. I will piggyback you guys because this is your forte. You see that there's numbers that are weak, and of course I have to get sloppy seconds after you, Brian. Because you're going to get your number first, and I'll lose a half a point generally.
Quick.
Yeah, you are quick. It's not that bad.
Talk to my wife.
But situation is, a lot of sites. I love that everybody's an expert on everything at a site. One year a guy says, I don't do that sport, and the next year he's selling those picks in that sport, and they just use other people's stuff, and that's not what we do. You guys do it, so I commend you guys for that, and it's why you guys are at Wager Talk. I appreciate you guys joining the Wager Talk family, and we got some big things coming this football season, and we'll be talking about one of those with you, Preston, in the later video. But let's talk the first game that you guys bet. This was Wisconsin, Alabama, and I believe, Brian, this was one of the games that you bet. Wisconsin, they opened this game up 10-point underdog against Alabama. New coach for Wisconsin, and I'm not happy about that because it was the Pitt guy. He bailed, which I knew was only going to be a matter of time. He said no to Wisconsin the first time they came knocking, but the second time, off he went, and now he's there at Wisconsin, and you like him getting 10 points.
Yeah, I took the 10. I think it's 9 now, which means I'm the only one that bet it. I think if you bet the limit, it moves up 1 point, is what they were doing. When I go into this totally different than some other people. I make my power ratings. I don't go in saying I like Team A, I want to bet Team A, I want to bet against Team B, that kind of thing. I compare my lines to their lines. If I find value, that's where I bet. and I think Alabama's going to be down a little bit this year. The best thing to me when you're going into this, we saw it last year with Florida State. When you find teams that everybody loves, Ohio State this year, to me, if you're going to bet the Ohio State games, you're going to bet against Ohio State right now because they're way up here.
Right.
There's nowhere to go but down. We saw it with Florida State. They fell completely apart. Everybody who bet against Florida State early last year, they won a ton of money. So that's really what you've got to look at. I think Alabama's a little bit overrated. Wisconsin's a solid team all the time. This game's played on a neutral field, probably a little bit more in Alabama's fan range. But, you know, I'll take the Big Ten physical Big Ten team getting double digits there.
And you've got the entire offseason for, you know, the team to prepare. Teams, you know, Alabama's going to get better as the season goes on, and the best chance to beat them's earlier in the year when they're making that turnover, and they do have a lot of turnover this year, but we know with the blue chip programs, turnover's not as big of a deal as it is at mid-range schools, that the cupboard's not always stocked the way they are at the blue chip schools. So the first play for the college football games of the year, bet at the Golden Nugget today. Brian saw value with Wisconsin plus 10 over Alabama. That opens the season up on September 5th. Check that one out. Brian says take Wisconsin. We're going to be back and take a look at another game, this next one. Both guys hammered this one at the Golden Nugget, so you'll want to stay tuned to Colorado at Colorado State up next on WagerTalk.com.